Good morning, Your Majesties. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. For those of you that are new here, welcome to my YouTube channel and happy Friday. It's Friday. Okay. This story, I don't know if y'all are ready for this. Are y'all ready for this? No? Yeah, I didn't think so. This one's called This one's called The Headless Horseman. Okay. And it goes, in the village of Black Hollow, nestled deep within the valley, surrounded by dark ancient woods, that the people lived in constant fear of the headless horseman. The legend had been passed down through generations, each telling more terrifying than the last. On foggy nights, when the mist rolled and thick and heavy, it was said that the ghostly rider would appear, searching for his lost head. Oh, hell no. The horseman was a figure of nightmare of... Why is there a fly in here? The horseman was a figure of nightmare, a headless specter astride a massive black horse, its tattered cloak billowing behind him, as he haunted with the replacement head, cutting down anyone who crossed his path. And of course, we have an underage person that's gonna just risk his own life, right? Okay. William, a boy of 15 with a taste for adventure and a stubborn disbelief in old superstitions, had heard the story so many times before. The villagers would gather around the hearth, their faces lit by the flickering flames, and speak in hushed tones of those who had disappeared into the woods, never to return. But William was not like the other villagers. He scoffed at their fear, dismissing the legend as nothing more than a tale to scare children. He was determined to prove that the headless horseman was just a myth, a figment of their imagination. Okay. William. One particularly foggy night, when the air was thick with mist and the moon was hidden behind a veil of clouds, William decided to venture into the woods. He was certain that the villagers were wrong, that there was nothing out there but trees and shadows. Ignoring the warnings of his mother and the pleas of his friends, he set out with only a lantern to light his way, determined to explore the forest and uncover the truth. As William walked, the sounds of the village faded into the distance, replaced by the eerie silence of the forest. The trees towered above him, their branches twisted and gnarled, reaching out like skeletal fingers in the gloom. Oh, the fog crawled around his feet, swirling in thick, heavy tendrils that seemed to pull him deeper into the woods. Despite his initial confidence, a sense of unease began to creep over him. The air was cold and damp, and the silence was apprehensive, as if the forest itself was holding its breath. The deeper William ventured, the more the fog thickened, until it became almost impossible to see more than a few feet ahead. He could no longer tell which direction he was going. The trees all looked the same, their twisted forms looming out of the mist like specters, just like just as he was beginning to consider turning back, he heard it, the distant sound of hooves pounding against the earth. William froze, his heart racing in his chest. The sound grew louder, the sound grew louder, the ground beneath his feet vibrating with each heavy thud. He strained his eyes, peering into the fog, and then he saw it. A dark figure on horseback emerging from the mist like a wraith. The headless horseman. See, when I read scary stories, I hear stuff. But you guys heard that too, right? Did it sound like a bird or something, right? Okay. Anyway. Okay. Um, the writer was just as the legends had described, tall and imposing, his headless body, draped in a tattered cloak that billowed out behind him, like the wings of a giant bat. The horse he rode with the massive beast, its coat as black as night, with eyes that glowed a deep, malevolent red. The horseman's sword, long the horseman's sword, long and gleaming, was held high in one hand, ready to strike. Panic surged through William as the horseman charged towards him. The sound of hooves growing, defeating, he turned and ran, his feet pounding against the forest floor as he fled through the fog. The branches of the trees clawed him, tearing at his clothes and skin. But he didn't slow down. But he didn't dare slow down. He could feel the horseman closing in, the chill of the death in the air as the ghostly rider bore down on him. Just as the horseman's sword sliced through the air, William tripped over a gnarled root and fell to the ground. The blade missing him by mere inches, he scrambled to his feet, his heart pounding in his chest. But as he looked around, he realized something terrifying. The horseman was not chasing him. Instead, the spectral rider was leading him deeper into the woods, steering him towards something he had not noticed before, an ancient outgrown grave. The grave was marked by a crumbling headstone covered in moss and nearly obscured by the en, en, by the encroaching roots of the forest. The horseman dismounted from a horse, the movement eerie and silent. With a bony hand, he pointed to the grave, the gesture slow and deliberate. William stared in horror, understanding dawning too late. The legend has not warned of this. The horseman was not searching for a replacement head. He was searching for a successor. The ground beneath William's feet began to shift, the earth opening up with a deep guttural rumble. The fog thickened, wrapping around him like a shroud as the grave yawned open, revealing the dark, cold void below. The horseman stood motionless, watching as William was slowly dragged towards the open grave. He tried to fight, to scramble away, but the pull of the earth was too strong. As he was swallowed by the ground, the last thing William saw was the horseman mounting his steed once more, the red glow of the horse's eyes piercing the fog. The horseman rode away, disappearing into the mist. his curse passed on to a new victim. The earth closed over William, and the woods felt silent once more. Good grief. The next morning, the villagers found him at the next morning, the villagers found William's hut at the edge of the woods, lying abandoned in the dirt. There was no sign of the boy, no trace of where he had gone. But as he stood at the edge of the forest, they heard it, the faint, distant sound of hoovers echoing through the trees, growing fainter as it faded into the depths of the woods. And they knew with a deep, chilling certainty that the headless horseman had found his successor. Well, fudge. I mean, dang, that is scary. Yeah. I know that was good. What do you guys think of that story? Let me know down below. If you guys are new here, that's going to be it for today's video. But if you guys are new here, hi, I'm Princess Peyton. Hit the red button to become your majesty and hit the bell notification so you're notified every time I upload a video. And I love you guys so much. You guys are the best human beings ever made. And you're the king of my heart, and the song lyrics of Taylor Swift. And I will see you guys in tomorrow's video. Okay, love you. Bye. Mwah.